by donating them to charity and recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
95.7 The Game is an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage local community organizations to refer qualified applicants to us. You can receive The Game and Odyssey job vacancy information by contacting Human Resources at 415-765-4011 or by emailing sfhr@odyssey.com.
For all contest rules, go to 957thegame.com/rules.
95.7 The Game is an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage local community organizations to refer qualified applicants to us. You can receive The Game and Odyssey job vacancy information by contacting Human Resources at 415-765-4011 or by emailing sfhr@odyssey.com.
An Odyssey station.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, yes. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show with Joe Spadoni on a beautiful Thursday morning. A little windy out there, but the rain, it died down for a little bit, thankfully. It's supposed to come back, but enjoy it for now. No rain out there. Well, at least if you're heading into San Francisco this morning like I was. No rain, but looks like it's not going anywhere for some time. Definitely going to be involved in the Niners-Seahawks game this Saturday at Levi Stadium starting at 1:30. Can't wait for that. Again, we'll have all that coverage for you here on 95.7 The Game leading up to it. Larry Krueger, that is, not Freddy Krueger. Shout out Nightmare on Elm Street. All-time villain, by the way, Freddy. Way better than Jason, Michael Myers. I think it's Freddy for me. But we'll have Larry Krueger, Low Neal, and after. We got Alan Stiles, Kyle Madsen right after the game, right after it ends, right when you know the game's over. Hell, the game might be going on, but you know what? If it's a blowout like we all think it's going to be for the Niners, you'll have Kyle Madsen and Alan Stiles on the call after the game. On overtime, we'll have double overtime. We'll have triple overtime. Who knows? We'll see. But we'll have all that coverage for you leading up to that 49ers and Seahawks game right here on 95.7 The Game. And if you would like to get involved, you know the number, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity mobile text line. Call or text that number. Simple as that. Hey, YouTube, how you doing? You can join me on YouTube as well. Hit up the chat there. Love hearing your comments. Love seeing the comments. And we got an awful lot to get into in this short hour. We're going to be previewing, and as we continue to preview that 49ers-Seahawks matchup. Third time meeting this season. 49ers 2-0 this season. The Seahawks, let's face it, they have historically owned the 49ers over the last decade. It's now looking like it's the 49ers division to own for a while. We'll continue to monitor that as the years move on, but they look like they're in the best position. You look at Kyle Shanahan, you look at that offense, you look at the weapons, you look like Brock Purdy might be the guy for the future. He's young. So they are already a step up against the Rams, who is looking like Sean McVay might be leaving. They're old. They may be looking to blow it up. They have no draft picks. You look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're already looking to blow it up. They're looking to trade DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray's probably going to be out next year. They just fired Cliff Kingsbury. Their GM stepped down. There's a lot going on in the NFC West, but it's all nice and roses and quiet in San Francisco and in Santa Clara. And that's nice to hear after a tumultuous, decade, if you will, for the 49ers. Yeah, they went to a couple Super Bowls, and I'm sure that's nothing to scoff at if you're a fan of another team who's just dying to even get to a Super Bowl. But yeah, they've gone through that. They've also had Jim Tom Sula and Chip Kelly, right? And then you had that flame-out Harbaugh year, and a lot of struggles under Kyle as well. Hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows like you've seen 3 out of the last 4 years, with a Super Bowl appearance and an NFC Championship appearance. And now anything short of one of those will feel like a disappointment if you're a 49ers fan. Well, that's just a hell of an accomplishment if you're Kyle Shanahan. Hats off to him, how he's able to turn this whole thing around. It's been impressive. It's been impressive. What constitutes a rivalry, right? Because for the longest time, and at least since 2010 for me, it's been 49ers Seahawks, right? And for order there to be a rivalry, to me anyways, and let me know at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, has to be between two teams, both good, and both playing each other with something on the line. Whether that's a division crown, whether that's a playoff matchup, that has to be it. That's what constitutes a rivalry. Yeah, there's geographical and something like that. But again, think of just geographical matchups. Hell, right here locally. A's Giants, right? Think of that as a rivalry. Sure. We got the Battle of the Bay every year. We had the World Series in 89 against each other, right? Great names. Will Clark, Canseco, McGuire, all those guys. Dave Stewart. Got Kruko on that team. So both teams have to be good at one point. And it could even be one game. But for rivalry purposes, there's nothing bigger than a division rival with the division on the line. And there's nothing bigger than a division on the line than a playoff berth on the line. And then for the Seahawks and Niners, when you want to knock it out your rival. You heard it last week with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. He's like, yeah, we know we're not making it. And it was Sunday Night Football in Green Bay. But we don't want them to go. Screw that. To hell with Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur and all those players. Screw them. They've owned us. We've only won 3 times since 1993 in Lambeau Field. And we're going to make it a 4th. And they did that. They played for pride and it worked and it paid off. Rivalries. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And the Seahawks and 49ers, that is the rivalry of the NFC West. Definitely in the last 20 years, the biggest one for me. Cardinals, yeah. Cardinals, they were good last year, right? Yeah, swept the 49ers. Can't scoff at that. But this year, they're done. They're a shell of themselves. They looked like a one-year wonder. Went all in with Cliff Kingsbury. Crapped out. When Bruce Arians was there, the Niners weren't very good, right? And Jim Harbaugh, it was him. It was Pete Carroll. That rivalry that dated back to college, it even enhanced it even more. Stanford v. USC. Harbaugh winning, and what's your deal, man? That whole thing. And then just flash forward to the NFL. Kaepernick. Russell Wilson. You thought that was going to be the playoff and quarterback rivalry of the next decade. Well, things changed. Harbaugh left. Bring in Jim Tomsula. Bring in Chip Kelly. Kaepernick's gone. Never to be seen again. We know the reasons for that. Russell Wilson, he dominates for the last decade. Just look at this. I was just going through the head-to-head matchups, and it's wild. And you can join in the conversation at 888-957-9570. So, first time since, 2010, the 49ers have swept the Seattle Seahawks in a series. That's wild. That just goes to show how much the Seahawks have dominated the last, look at this, back till 2014. They had, from 2014 on, all the way through 2018, December 2nd of 2018, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight wins. It wasn't until 2018 in December at home at Levi Stadium where they got an overtime win, 26-23. And then obviously you had their first loss of 2019, the Super Bowl year, 27-24, the Chase McLaughlin shanking that kick. Russell Wilson doing what he does. And if you're a 49ers fan, isn't it so nice to see Russell Wilson out of the division? That guy, he was the reason. I'm convinced. Pete Carroll's a hell of a head coach. I don't want to take anything away from him, but there was just something scary about Russell Wilson facing the 49ers if you were a 49ers fan. We saw it in Denver this season. They're the worst team in the league. Them and the Texans, they stunk. Broncos stink. Nate Hackett first year as an NFL head coach, couldn't even finish the season. It was that bad. One of the worst head coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. Nate Hackett is up there. He's got to be in the top 10, top 5 maybe. And he lost to that team because it was Russell Wilson. It was that guy. He's not there anymore. It's Geno Smith. And yeah, he's had a solid year. He's been a nice bounce back season. Probably the best season of his career. Threw the most yards in Seattle Seahawks history in a season, which is nuts, considering Russell Wilson's a borderline Hall of Famer. But it's not Russell Wilson there anymore. It's Geno Smith. And it's not Marshawn Lynch. Kenneth Walker, he's good. He's not Marshawn. You still got Tyler Lockett. You still got DK Metcalf. Parkinson, Fant, solid tight ends. And I'm not scared of them like I used to be if I was a 49ers fan because of that quarterback position. And do the Seahawks even have a shot at winning? Here's what Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL insider, former NFL offensive lineman, does work with Westwood One. You hear him all the time. Here's what Ross Tucker had to say about the Seahawks and their chances of winning.
No, they don't have a chance to win that game. I mean, never say never, but unless Geno Smith throws a couple bombs to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, I don't see how they win the game.
Doesn't see it. In fairness, I think that's the recipe. That's the recipe right there. You have to have a couple deep shots. You have to have the Niners caught sleeping in the secondary, which last couple weeks seems like that's par for the course. And then also, you have to have some turnovers. You have to be ready. If Brock Purdy throws one of those oh-no throws, you have to capitalize. Listen, he's going to throw them. He's a rookie. He's thrown some the last couple games, and Raiders have taken advantage. You know, he was trying to extend plays last week against the Arizona Cardinals, rolling out, just no one to throw it away, Oh, why isn't he throwing it away? Then he does. Nope, gets sacked. So there are going to be opportunities for the Seattle Seahawks defense, but can they capitalize on it? That's the question. That's what it always comes down to in the playoffs. Are your playmakers going to show up in the big moments? And that's what makes rivalries great. I know the 49ers fans were on the short end of the stick for quite some time when it came to Richard Sherman and the tip pass, right? And then the whole Crabtree thing. And then Richard Sherman somehow comes back to the Niners, and then that rivalry is renewed even more. It's Sherman v. Seattle. A lot of bad blood there for how things ended. And man, now it's back. We got another playoff matchup. It's not going to be as sexy because the coaches are different, right? But still, Shanahan, Carroll, great masterminds going against each other. Carroll, a defensive guy. Shanahan, an offensive guy. The young v. old, if you will. Anakin Skywalker v. Check that. Almost made a huge mistake in my Star Wars reference, and I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I would never want to do that to the audience. Make a horrible mistake. It'd be Luke Skywalker versus the old man versus Darth Vader. Trying to find a better comp to that. Someone that's really old. Gonna do some deep cuts. Maybe Ahsoka v. Darth Maul. Shout out Clone Wars series. That's a nice one. It's a nice little comp. But it's the Padawan versus the Jedi Master, right? But I think Shanahan's graduated from Padawan to Jedi Knight at this point. And with the red and gold, maybe he's a Sith Lord. Red always looks better, too, in Star Wars. The red lightsaber, miss me with the blue. It's all about the red. And if you can get the double-sided red lightsaber, that's when you know you're balling. If you saw a kid with that growing up, the double-sided red lightsaber toy, you knew their parents were rich. They were balling. Good morning, CT9er on the YouTube chat. And again, if you want to join YouTube, hello, all the Twitch and YouTube audience. Thank you for joining us. YouTube 800, let's go Niners. It's a huge week, rivalry week. They're playing the Seattle Seahawks. This is the 49ers rival. As much as we wanted to say it was the Rams because of McVay, Shanahan, their relationship where they go back, Washington, working together, getting revenge potentially on an NFC championship game that you lost last year, a series in which you owned Sean McVay if you're Kyle Shanahan, and then the one loss that actually means the most is in the NFC championship game. I still, because of the ownage that you had over McVay prior to that, I don't really constitute it as a rivalry. Let me know what you think at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Seahawks are absolutely, in my lifetime, the 49ers' biggest rival. Not close. Not close. Speaking of the Seattle Seahawks, their head coach, Pete Carroll, he talked about the 49ers and how they are a juggernaut.
Kyle's done an incredible job with his QBs this season. That 10-game run is big time now. That's big time in this league. And you got to give them all the credit. They're as healthy maybe as they've been all year long. You know, it's a freaking juggernaut we're going into.
What makes them so challenging to play against?
Well, now they're so well equipped with so many guys at positions that can make things happen. They have who do you stop? You know, and McCaffrey's been just a gem. So I think he scored 11 touchdowns in the 10 games or something like that or whatever. You know, they're just so loaded and so much so that the quarterback, a young dude, has come in there and taken it over and done great. You know, three touchdowns yesterday. So it's as hard as it could possibly get.
That young dude, Brock Purdy, Pete. That young dude is great though. Just goes back to being Mr. Relevant. Listen, you keep winning in the playoffs, Brock. I promise you, everyone will know your name if they haven't now. And Mr. Irrelevant, that'll be their nickname for the rest of your career. And you know what? It's a pretty damn good one if you end up winning the whole thing. It's ironic. It's funny. It's great. Mr. Relevant doesn't really roll off the tongue. Mr. Irrelevant is just better. From the YouTube chat, what is your name there? Parrot Let's Run Earth? It's an interesting name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm just going to go Earth. That's your name. I go way back to when the Cowboys and even Giants and Washington were major rivals. Before that, I remember the bad old days of the 70s before Joe Montana. Fair enough. It doesn't have to be in division. The reason why the Raiders and Steelers are still considered a rivalry, hell, they had a Sunday Night Football matchup this year, or was it Christmas Eve, whatever it was, Saturday Night Football. Try to ruin my Christmas, by the way. God. They did. Yeah, they tried to. I was upset for maybe an hour. But then I realized we're moving off Derek Carr, and I felt better. Anyways, that was a matchup, right? On Christmas, it was the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Deception. Franco Harris, RIP, by the way, Franco, was off for quite a few weeks during his passing. Just a legend. Horrible that he passed away during that week when they were going to retire his jersey. Ended up retiring it, but very sad to see him go. But that was a rivalry that was made in the playoffs because the Raiders and the Steelers in the 70s, it was almost always for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And the Steelers, getting that Immaculate Deception call, changed their whole franchise. Raiders, what could have been? They did get their one Super Bowl. Kenny Stabler, Old Man Willie, you know the rest. But it doesn't have to be in division always. Now, it's great. Those are some of the best rivalries are in division. You mean go to the Cowboys, Giants, the Eagles, all those NFC East rivalries, classics, Miracle at the Meadowlands, what have you. You go to probably the biggest in my lifetime, and I'm only 29, so listen, I haven't been around as a lot of you listening, I'm sure, but Ravens Steelers at the top, absolutely. And what made those games, again, so special, the playoffs, the high stakes, the hard hits, the cold, the frozen tundra of Pittsburgh, Baltimore, raining all the time. Joey Flacco v. Ben Roethlisberger. It didn't matter that those are the quarterbacks, one Hall of Fame or one not. Flacco, he knew when push came to shove, that guy was clutch. And that's what made those games so fun. It always seemed it was hard hitting. It had Hall of Famers, Polamalu, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Hines Ward, and that grin. I wanted to punch that guy in the face. Couldn't stand the Steelers in that whole run with Hines Ward. Ugh. He was just so clutch, too, and he always would catch it, get hit. And that grin on his face, it must have drove DBs crazy because it just drove me crazy watching it on TV. God. But just that's what's so fun about watching them. Then you look at it, could be a quarterback rivalry, right? They don't even have to play each other on the field, but you look at Brady versus Manning. What's bigger than that the last 20 years? Brady v. Manning, Colts v. Patriots. Then it was Patriots v. Broncos. Just so fun. So fun. So let me know, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. What's some of your favorite rivalries? It's rivalry week. 49ers Seahawks. Win or go home. Levi Stadium this Saturday, 1:30. And once again, we'll have all that coverage for you leading up to the game, post-game, all that right here on 95.7 The Game. And yeah, if you want to get involved, 888-957-9570. And the YouTube chat is up and running. 925, I hope Niners fans are dealt another devastating, heartbreaking loss. All right, you must be a Cowboys fan. You must be a Seahawks fan. You're probably a Raiders fan. But I just want a good game. I'm not worried about that. If it was a devastating, heartbreaking loss, it probably means it was a good game. Not if you're a 49ers fan. You want to win. You want a blowout. You want a comfortable lead. You're going up against a team you're facing for the third time. And that was a big talking point yesterday amongst some of the shows. You know, you're facing a team for the third time. What's going to happen? You know, when you play a team for 3 straight times, actually, there's a 6.67 winning percentage over the last 20 years or so. So I think it was 10 out of 15. So the team that's going for the sweep has won 10 of the last 15 times when you're meeting a team that you faced twice previously. So going into the third matchup with teams that have faced off each other 2 times in a row, the team that's going for the sweep has won 10 of the last 15 matchups. So the odds are in the 49ers' favors here again. It was with their favor last year in the NFC Championship game. We know that. Jimmy Garoppolo, he was hurt. He was injured. Doesn't matter. No excuses. He throws the pick to lose it. Night. Game over. Rams go on. They win the whole thing. They beat Joe Burrow. Kyle Shanahan left licking his wounds once again. Now they're back. Going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now let's face it. They kind of owned those 2 matchups. First one was a little weird. They dominated most of that game. It was just weird because of the Trey Lance injury. You know, week 2 of the season, you're back home. You had that brutal loss week 1 against the Bears in that monsoon. And then week 2, you come home, you're dominating the game for the most part, but then Trey Lance gets hurt. He's out for the season. Jimmy Garoppolo comes in. He looks great. Oh, everything's all sunshine and rainbows. We're good. No, you're going to lose to the worst team in the league and Russell Wilson, who's playing like the worst quarterback in the league, week later on primetime in Denver. Just a weird season. I'm just recapping now in my mind. This whole season's been an up and down roller coaster, followed by a 10-game winning streak, and now you just seemingly will not lose. And you got your third-string quarterback, Brock Purdy, who's now your number 1-string quarterback, who looks like it's his job to lose, and he might be the quarterback of the future. He's getting compared to Tom Brady. It's just a nuts season. The season's nuts. There's just no way. I'm just reliving it all on the air with all of you. This season's nuts for the 49ers. And you're never going to see anything like this again. You're just not. And that's just what makes the NFL so awesome. You got a guy named Mr. Irrelevant with a chance, and with Vegas, by the way, backing him in the NFC to reach the Super Bowl. Mr. Irrelevant. Started the season with what you thought was your quarterback of the future in Trey Lance. Still might be. Then you go back to your quarterback of the past in Jimmy Garoppolo. Then he starts playing well once you get Christian McCaffrey. It's like, oh, I remember this old Jimmy. They're letting Jimmy cook. Oh, that's great. Okay, there's Jimmy. Broken foot. Well, we knew we couldn't count on him, so you know what? We'll see. Trey Lance will be back next year. Let's just see what we got. Maybe we can make the playoffs. That's all well and good. Brock Purdy, let's just see what he got. Oh, that was a nice win for Brock against the Dolphins coming in relief time. But let's see how he does against the GOAT and Tom Brady. Let's see how he does against there. Oh, wow, he kind of crushed them. He outdueled Tom Brady. He looked way better than the greatest quarterback of all time. We might have something here. Oh, my goodness. And then the wins just kept stacking and stacking. Yeah, but, he hasn't faced adversity. You know what? He needs to face real adversity before he makes the playoffs, right? Well, what's more adversity than being down 10 points on the road? Quote-unquote hostile environment, but not really because it was mostly Niners fans at Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. But nonetheless, there were a bunch of Raiders fans there, and they were making their voices heard. Throws a pick. You're down. You rally back. You almost throw another pick, but Ayuk saves you. Your kicker misses it. Jared Stidham, he gets pressured by Nick Bosa, which forces a bad throw. He gets picked. And then you won. Oh, let's see him do it in the playoffs now. Well, if we're just going to keep pushing the goalposts back, I guess we are. But listen, he's going to start stacking these wins. I think he's going to win this week. We'll see what shakes out around the NFC, where maybe the Giants force an upset, and maybe you're seeing TB12 or Dak Prescott at Levi's next week. But for this week, and that's what we're focused on here at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, it's the Seattle Seahawks, and it's a rivalry week. From the YouTube chat, back to Parrots Run the Earth, the Steelers were the team I hated the most as a kid back then. You're so right. Yeah, just talking about rivalries. Can't stand the Steelers now. Kenny Pickett. That guy. Ruining my Christmas. Mike Tomlin, hell of a head coaching season. I saw Ross Tucker tweet this, and we just heard from Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL Insider. And he was talking about, I can see like at least 10 different head coaches this year winning it, and I wouldn't be mad. And I was like, you know what? You're kind of right. And obviously I did my whole spiel for Doug Peterson, why I think he should be the head coach. But if Kyle Shanahan won it, I wouldn't be scoffing at that. He's on his third string quarterback, and the job he's done, they're NFC favorites with Brock Purdy. Kyle Shanahan has a tremendous amount of credit for that. The acquisition of CMC, John Lynch, he should be up for Executive of the Year for that trade alone. It's unbelievable how he's changed the dynamic of this offense in this whole season. Christian McCaffrey's that dude. And I'm convinced if he was on this the 49ers at the beginning of the season, he's probably getting the MVP. He's been that good. Now, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he's just on another world. But Christian McCaffrey and what he's been able to do has been unreal. Unreal since joining the 49ers. But to go back to Ross's point, like Shanahan, Tomlin, Peterson, Dable, Sirianni, right? Andy Reid, McDermott, just all those guys can win it, and I wouldn't be mad. Usually there's a clear-cut one. Don't think that's the case right now. Don't think that's the case. We're going to take a quick break here. Coming back, Steve Kerr joined Damon and Ratto yesterday. He had some interesting thoughts on the team's current losing streak. They're getting ready to go onto the road, play the San Antonio Spurs at the Alamo. Is it Alamo Bowl? Alamo Dome? Alamo. Shout out the Alamo. That's where they're going to play. They're going to try to break the record for most attendance in an NBA game. Steph Curry's back. I'm sure they will have no problem breaking that. So we'll listen to what Steve Kerr had to say about that. He also talked about Kyle Shanahan, his conversations with him before the season, and he talked about the 49ers' chances and who he's rooting for between Kyle Shanahan and his old buddy Pete Carroll. We'll listen to that on the other side. And again, if you want to join in the conversation, it's 888-957-9570. Hello, Twitch and YouTube. Come on back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
It's an NFC West showdown in the wild card round.
You got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Niners.
Christian McCaffrey has a 49er touchdown.
Seahawks.
Parkinson touchdown. Seattle.
Keep it locked.
Well, do you, punk?
On 95.7 The Game.
Bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. You earn points and save when you buy the top pro brands you trust, like DeWalt. Right now, you can save $100 on the powerful DeWalt 8¼ carbide tipped portable table saw. Was $399, now just $299. Join today and shop bonus days, only at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 1/20. Subject to change while supplies last. Visit Lowes.com/MVPs bonus points for details.
On the podcast, Hey Dude, the 90s Called, David Lasher and Christine Taylor, stars of the cult classic show Hey Dude, bring you back to the days of slip dresses and choker necklaces.
We're going to use Hey Dude as our jumping off point, but we are going to unpack and dive back into the decade of the 90s.
We lived it, and now we're calling on all of our friends to come back and relive it.
So leave a code on your best friend's beeper, because you'll want to be there when the nostalgia starts flowing. Listen to Hey Dude, the 90s Called, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California Deluxe Windows. Ever notice? When your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and even mismatched paint. At California Deluxe Windows, we never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California who custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements. Almost everyone else on the radio is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California Deluxe Windows, we take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Call now, and for a limited time, you get 30% off your entire order and 24 months of interest-free financing. 800-874-3600. 800-874-3600. That's 800-874-3600. California Deluxe Windows. Windows engineered for life.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
For wild card round action, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is the place to go. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code VENTURE. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's code VENTURE. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario and Ohio. Bonus issued as free bets. One free bet issued based on amount of initial losing NFL bet up to $10. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, doing a dry here, I guess. Back on the pregame show, 95.7 The Game. Joe Spadoni, nice to be with you. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Sam. Sam's in the building. He's getting all the Twitch, YouTube, Zoom, all that stuff. He's getting it ready to go for the morning roast. Joe Shasky, Bonte Hill, and they're fired up. They got Joe Davis coming on. Is that right, Sam? Joe Davis, 650, head nodding. Great booking. He's going to be on the call, Fox Sports. For 49ers v. Seahawks, can't wait for that. We've been talking rivalry. It's rivalry week right here. So 888-957-9570 again. 888-957-9570 if you would like to get involved. And listen, 49ers, Seahawks, that's the one. It's not the Cardinals. It's not the Rams. Even though the Rams have had more success as of late, you've owned them. The Seahawks and the Niners are the rivalry. You just go back to their win-loss totals, the head coaches, the talent, the Super Bowls, all that. The games, the craziness that seems to happen all the time. Wasn't crazy in any of the matchups this season. And I'm hoping, and 49ers fans are hoping, they don't see any craziness this Saturday at Levi Stadium, but it is going to be wet. It is going to be rainy. That is in the forecast, so we will wait to see what happens there, but we'll be monitoring it. A lot of people are saying, the weather, please. You have the better defense. Steiny made a great point. He's like, don't miss me with the weather on Saturday. The 49ers have the better defense. They have the best running game in the NFL. Couple those two things together, that's perfect for the elements. The team on the other side, Kenneth Walker, you're looking to shut him down like you did in Seattle to clinch the NFC West, like, you're going to force Geno Smith to throw it, and that's a recipe for disaster in the rain. So we'll be continuing to monitor that, but I don't see it as a big detriment, and I agree with Matt Steinmetz. You know who also agrees with Matt Steinmetz all the time? Steve Kerr, right, Steiny? It's your guy. It's your boy. Shout out, Steiny. He gets to talk to Bob Myers and Zaza Pachulia every week on the executive show, so you don't want to miss that. I think it was Zaza this week. He had some good stuff to say, and he's not ready to panic yet. And Steve Kerr, we were talking grades yesterday, right? Halfway point of the season, 20-21, sub 500 at the end of the first half. And Steve Kerr was asked by Damon and Rado yesterday what grade he'd give his team.
A C. We haven't been good enough, but we're passing the class because we're still right in the thick of everything playoff wise. But it's not good enough, obviously. So our guys know that, our staff knows that, and we do feel really good about our path ahead and where we're heading. But we've got to do better, and that's about as clear as I can make it.
I think C is fair. I think I gave him a C plus because some of the young guys, Kuminga playing well, right? Moody and spurts, but Moody now looks like he's back behind Lamb. Lamb's been playing well, is better. Ty Jerome, those two, when they did have that winning streak, and it seems like all these winning streaks are followed by losing streaks. It's one step forward, two steps back. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, whatever you want to say. This Warriors season has just been up and down. Roller coaster. 3 different metaphors right there if you missed them. So C is fine. It's right in the middle. And I think that's accurate and fair from your head coach. Steve Kerr also went on to talk about the most frustrating aspect of the first half of the season.
I think just the stops and starts. We haven't really built momentum consistently. We've had a weird, home road variance that would speak to, a lack of execution and resilience, because that's what you need to win on the road. So I think all in all, just, we're just not good enough right now. But, having said that, I do feel very strongly that our team has the ability to get where we need to go. And I've watched these guys for years, our core guys, rise to the occasion. I know what they're made of. And heading into the second half, I think we can see pretty clearly on tape, some of the things that are causing us problems, and we're going to address those. And I believe in our guys. I think we'll get there.
Yeah, and what's not to believe in with the Warriors? I mean, history will tell you, just get them in the playoffs. If they stay healthy, no one's going to beat this team. I mean, it's as simple as that. When Clay, Dre, and Steph are all healthy, you're going to win an NBA championship. And that's what's happened in the past. They have never lost a series in which those three are healthy and starting. So get there, and I understand. But we have 41 games to talk about, and that is too easy. Just sweep it on the rug every time. Defense is a problem. And historically, with veteran teams, defense comes around later in the season. Well, we're at the halfway point, and it's still not there. So unless I start seeing some changes, I'm going to keep expecting this defense to blow leads, for bad teams to keep beating them, and disasters to keep happening, which is what happened 2 nights ago at Chase Center when they lost to the Skeleton Crew Phoenix Suns. You're going on the road where you have struggled. So if you don't start cleaning up some of the mistakes, the lack of effort on defense, on offense, the passiveness, not being sure of yourself, and that goes for all the players on the team, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Here's more from Steve Kerr explaining why he takes blame for the loss to Phoenix.
There's a couple losses like this every year, and every team goes through this, where during the 82, you run into a team that's wiped out and you let your guard down, and that team comes in and they've got 7 or 8 vets who are dying to play, and guys like Sharich last night, Torrey Craig, guys who maybe don't get to take on a role most nights, Josh Okogie, all these guys, they're pros. They've been around for a while and they've had success. And I just feel like, when those nights happen, it's like I kick myself afterwards for not walking into the locker room and banging on the walls, during our pregame meeting and yelling, do you guys understand what's about to happen? And I think a lot of my colleagues go through the same thing. You just, it's such a long haul, and there's just going to be sort of normal human emotion letdown games. And that was one of them. But I think on top of that, I just think my staff and I could have done a better job, preparing the team for Phoenix and what they do, how they like to play us. And I just didn't think it was a good night for any of us, staff or players. And we've got to acknowledge that and address it.
In fairness to Steve here, and he's right, they should have been up and ready for that game, and he is the head coach, and he is ultimately responsible for the effort and for those guys wanting to care and getting up for that game. He's going to get all the credit. He's going to get all the blame. That's just how it works. He's the head coach. There is a fine line between, though, that the players got to want it, right? I mean, is there anything more exciting than your best player and the best player in the world, Stephen Curry, coming back onto the floor, returning to your squad with a healthy Andrew Wiggins, with a healthy Klay Thompson, with a healthy Draymond Green, with a now healthy Andre Iguodala? Shouldn't you guys all have been up and ready for that game and excited and ready to go against a bad team that you should feast on? And I understand you guys are champs, 4-time champs. I understand all that. It's not the NBA Finals. It's not a playoff series. It's hard to get up against a Phoenix Suns teams without Devin Booker, without DeAndre Ayton, right? Without Chris freaking Paul. It's hard. But that's what you get paid for, to beat the bad teams. That's what you get paid for. You shouldn't need to have to psych yourself up every single time in and time out. It's the game you love. It's the game you want to play. Go act like it. Go act like it. 415 Xfinity Mobile text line. Yes, the core three, when healthy, never lost a playoff series, minus Teabag Gate. I'm assuming you're referring to LeBron James, 2016, obviously, with Draymond Green. I'll be more specific. When Klay, Dre, and Steph all start and play in every single game. He did not start and play. Draymond obviously did not start and play in Game 6. And they lost. Cleveland, this is for you. We get all that. By the way, have you seen the latest? An unknown NBA executive, or a nameless, whatever you want to call it, has said he thinks LeBron James is headed to the Golden State Warriors. Oh my goodness. Where have we heard that one before? I don't know. Maybe the past 5 years. Oh, LeBron, I think he really wants to join the Warriors. That's fine. Hey, if you can get him, God bless it. Absolutely. If I'm a Warriors fan, I absolutely want him on this team. I want him on this team. Now, is it going to happen? No chance. Do not see that happening at all. An unnamed NBA executive's just saying he thinks it's going to happen. It's not really anything to, get so excited about. But hey, in Sports Talk Radio, that's what we do. We love unnamed NBA executives because they give us content, and that's what we're going to talk about. So sure, let's just do this content. LeBron James, a Golden State Warrior. You in or out, Warriors fans? I feel like I know the question if I put out the poll if I put out the poll prior to this 3-game losing streak, it might have been 90% no. Now you're thinking, you know what? LeBron's playing pretty well. He's looking pretty good. The Lakers are staying afloat without AD. You know what? I could pass on James Wiseman. I could pass on a couple of these picks. Moses Moody, sure. If you're really pulling my leg, maybe Kuminga. If I can get LeBron, sure. Are you thinking that, Warriors fans? 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. YouTube, let me know. We're going to get back into more of the Seattle Seahawks and 49ers. Speaking of guys that you hated to root against, Richard Sherman, and who became a 49er. See, it could happen, Warriors fans. You hated LeBron. I don't think anyone was more hated by 49ers fans than Richard Sherman. He came back and almost helped you win a title. So, it could happen. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Come on back. More 49ers Seahawks talk right here. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Are you ready? Super Bowl! Super Bowl! For Niners playoff football.
San Francisco going to the Super Bowl with a big win tonight over Green Bay. This is a great night for the 49ers.
It's Niners versus Seahawks.
Let's go Niners!
The best 49ers coverage is right here on 95.7 The Game.
Are you ready to boost your game at work, explode with energy at the gym, and really hit one out of the park in the bedroom? Balanced Medical Solutions has your back with the best solutions for ED, PE, weight gain, and chronic fatigue. Join thousands of Bay Area men who have said goodbye to low testosterone, low energy, and low libido who now feel like world champs. Mention this station until the end of the month to get a medical evaluation with labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call today and get a win. 510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Hi, welcome to IKEA and our winter sale. Hi, we've got hundreds of offers on everything from storage solutions to...
I'm sorry, did you say hundreds?
Yeah, check out our offers on shelving and desks.
Oh, what about mattresses?
Yep, those too.
Dressers? Sofas?
Yes, and yes.
I think I need a bigger cart.
Our winter sale is almost over. Visit us in-store or at ikea-usa.com/offers to save through January 22nd. Offer dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/offers for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's true when your business is growing fast, and even more true when there's a lot of uncertainty. Inflation is running rampant, supply chains are clogged, and the labor market is tight. What does that mean for margins? But not every business is in the dark. Over 30,000 businesses know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and of course inventory, so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need, all in one place. In 2023, profit is the new growth. NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your manual business process, and see where to save money. Know your numbers. Know your business and get to know how NetSuite can be the source of truth for your entire company. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/radar right now. netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. Hello! He's a handful, but I'll manage. Just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad!
No home internet? It's not that bad!
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
From the beginning, AmeriWest Credit Union was created to provide a brighter financial future for you. We work hard for our members because they're our greatest strength.
AmeriWest worked for me when I needed an auto loan for my first car.
When I need to make a mobile payment, AmeriWest works for me.
Put our premier savings account to work for you, now paying up to 25 times the national average. AmeriWest Credit Union, working for you today, tomorrow, together.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dancing crew, trip for two, nailed the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
There it is. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni. I'm on my level. I think the 49ers are too. They play the Seahawks this Saturday at Levi Stadium. Joe Davis on the call. He's going to be joining the morning roast, 6:50 for Fox. Joe's one of the best. He's so good. He does Dodgers play-by-play. He took up, I mean, who takes over for Vin Scully and just doesn't skip a beat when people just don't even compare? They don't even compare him. I guess that's the ultimate compliment because Joe's really good at his job. He's great at football. He's like the LA's Dave Fleming. And Joe Shasky, another great Joe, as he's joined with Joe Spadoni, just an elite name, an elite morning for Joes in general. Joe Shasky, the morning roast, joining me now here on the pregame show. And Joe, we're talking about rivalries. Obviously, it's rivalry week. Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll, Gumcho, we're talking about that all week. And what constitutes a rivalry, obviously? Both teams had to have been good and had to have played for something at one point, in my opinion, right? And rivalry can be whatever you want. Hell, it can go back family ties or whatever. It can be geographical, age.
Hatfields or McCoys.
There you go. Hey, that was a solid little miniseries they had on like History Channel.
It was
for a
very
second.
good.
What was that, Kevin Costner?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm one of the weirdos that watches Ancient Aliens. I mean, I'm over it now, but like I went way.
How were the
deeper.
Mayan temples actually built? Right,
bro. That guy is the best. When he's got the goggle sunburn.
Oh my god, it's the hairline for me
it's
where he puts
so good.
I was like, just let it go, bro.
He's so good, so good.
But
keep going.
No, I was talking about what constitutes a rivalry and stuff like that, and I was just talking myself into it. And just both teams have to have been good, play for. Like I never constitute like the Arizona Cardinals. They've been in the division.
I have zero emotion other than like,
right, like
annoyance.
Like because when Kurt Warner was good doing that run, like the Niners weren't very good.
No,
yeah. So even with Bruce Arians at his height, like it was just like okay, but the Niners aren't very good.
Yes.
So I can never look at them. And then even with the Rams, it's like. Just until that NFC Championship, prior to that, it wasn't a rivalry because Kyle Shanahan just owned Sean McVay. Like he owned him.
Agreed.
Like, and maybe there is a rivalry. And again, maybe it goes back to personal relationships.
Exactly.
Because they came up together.
Yeah.
Maybe toss in LaFleur if you want to in there. But again, Shanahan has owned LaFleur for the most part. So it's interesting just to dissect rivalries in sports and why we get passionate about it. And for the longest time, the Seahawks and 49ers, at least up until the last couple of years because of Russell Wilson and co., but it was the rivalry, like in sports. Mm-hmm. It was them and then Steelers-Ravens. Mm-hmm. That was like the AFC and NFC. Those are it's like, oh, if those two are playing, it's going to be a body bag type game, right?
Outside of baseball, though, where up until recently, it used to be you almost never could face your rival in the playoffs, right? Like Red Sox, Yankees, until the expansion of the wild card system and things like that. Like they were never really going to meet.
We finally saw the Giants Dodgers last year. That was sick.
First time ever since the 3-game playoff.
Yeah, and shout out Joe Davis, voice of the Dodgers, joining guys at 650.
Exactly. So to me, like these rivalries are forged in the playoffs, right? That's why the Rams and the Niners, because they met in an NFC Championship game.
Raiders, Steelers back in the 70s. That's still a rivalry today because they were both so good at that whole decade.
Exactly. And the Ravens Steelers is such a great example because I feel like I remember divisional or wild card weekend for like 4 straight years.
Oh, absolutely. You just think of just all the names there too.
Exactly.
Polamalu, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis,
Joey
Porter. Dude, I think of Hines Ward in that face. I wanted to punch. I hate him so much.
And him getting ready to block.
Oh my god! And then his smile every time he got up. God, I hated that guy.
Well, that's the one thing about Pete Carroll. As I kind of take a quick little side left, it's his face.
No, yeah.
I mean, like straight up, like the jaw and then the nose.
The perplexed look. Him always bending over on his knees, looking up.
He looks like a character out of Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. And he's 70 years old and has the energy and enthusiasm of like a 30-year-old, like a Sean McVay.
By the way, watch back Reservoir Dogs. There's some supercharged language.
Oh,
that
it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, right?
Yeah. I think they need to make some edits to that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just put it that way.
Not great.
Lots of racist stuff going on.
Oh, totally. Oh yeah.
But I didn't pick up on it the first couple of times. I was much younger. It came out in like 92 or 93. Yeah. So I was way younger and it just some of it went over my head. And watching it back on Netflix, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. I'm really uncomfortable.
Quentin's been in some hot water years late, looking back on a lot of his films. People are dissecting. He's like, yeah.
Well, Hateful Eight starts off that way too.
Yeah, but a lot of the N word that is not very nice.
But what I was getting at with Pete Carroll is worst nose in sports.
Damn, I'm not one to talk because I got a schnoz.
Me too.
Shout out YouTube chat if you're looking at me right now. But yeah, like
I mean, it's crooked.
It's crooked. It looks like his face. I think my dad told me this one time we were watching it. It looks like his face got caught in the washing machine and it got twisted a little. It got twisted a little bit like a shirt does.
So what I always said he looked like is he looks like those guys that put on the nylon leggings that a woman would wear, and like when you go to rob a bank or something back in the day, they would wear the leggings and you put it on and the nose turns sideways.
Yes,
because you got it on so tight that he looks like he's wearing a robber's mask.
No, that's a great point. That's a great Pete Carroll. And that was what made the 49ers and Seahawks rivalry so even more over the top, too. It wasn't just that you had Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, and all the names, Patrick Willis, Chancellor, all those guys, Richard Sherman. It wasn't just that. It was the head coaches.
Yes.
Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll go back to college.
Yes.
That doesn't happen a lot.
No.
Like, it is rare that you get two college coaches that are very good at the same time, let alone just one. And I just saw an article recently that David Shaw is like interviewing for the Denver Broncos.
I saw that too.
I was very shocked. I was like, David Shaw had his window. Remember, for a time and place, and we'll take a quick left here.
Yeah.
David Shaw was the guy. Everyone wanted him out of Stanford, and he just wouldn't leave. He's like, I like it here. And it looks like his ship has sailed, and obviously he got let go from Stanford. So interesting, though.
No, the David Shaw. I mean, who's going to coach Stanford? I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, it's who is it now? They got God, I can't think of the name. Let me look up. Keep going.
No, but like the David Shaw thing was so out of left field. On your like, hey,
Sac State guy, Troy Taylor. There you go.
Nice. On this, the Niners and the Rams couldn't be a rivalry, but like I feel like the Seahawks on was it 11 straight, 9 straight, 10 straight, something like that the Seahawks beat the Niners.
From I have it right.
I remember the win was the Nick Mullins in the rain overtime. Russ misses the throw late.
So January 19th of 2014.
One of the worst storms ever.
Yes, January 19th of 2014. That was Seahawks win. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight up until December 2nd, 2018. And then they lost.
That's the Mullins game.
December 16th is the Mullins game. A couple weeks later.
Yeah.
And they won.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mullins game, I remember I went to with my nephew who wore shorts, and I was like, you're an idiot. It's going to rain cats and dogs here for 4 quarters, and it did.
Yeah.
And it will on Saturday. I'm so excited for this game, though. Like, I'm so pumped.
No, I'm just trying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I was like, this is our rivalry week. Like, this is it. Amazing. This is the game. Like,
I think this is the hardest game, too.
Yeah, sorry, not to cut you off, Joe. No, I think so, too. It's because again, we go back to the third straight. It's like, it's not even about that. It's just playoff jitters. First game on the slate.
Familiarity with your
opponent. Everyone's going to be watching you. It's playoff. It's just different. It is. And then also, I'm watching a lot of the Niners fans just say this, and it's just funny. It's like they felt disrespected that they're being put on Saturday as the first game. I was like, they're disrespecting the Seahawks because they think the Niners are going to destroy them.
Yes.
Like, that's what that tells me.
And the other part of this is that, let's say they play next Saturday, right? Then you'd get the full 7 days. If you would play on Sunday, maybe you could, like, I'm talking next, if you win, right, and you move on, maybe you play Saturday, you get the full, you guarantee yourself 7 days of rest, I guess is what I'm getting at. Let's say you played on Sunday. Next week you could play on Saturday. That would be a 6-day rest.
Yes.
So it's not the greatest, but like it's got some advantages baked into it, so it's not the worst either. Like there's kind of a little give and take. Last thing on this one, because I've been thinking about it long and hard. Bonte brought this up. That Thursday night game was way closer than people want to believe.
Yes.
Way closer than people want to believe.
I mean,
so Brock had to try to run the clock out. Even then, they still had a puncher's chance, Seattle, to get back into that game.
Yes.
I am very, very, very worried about this game.
Yeah, I thought he started sliding before the line of scrimmage, and I thought they were going to call it dead.
Yes.
No, exactly. So I was like, oh, wait, like the Seahawks could have a chance here.
Yeah.
So you're right.
The Diggs interception?
Yeah, exactly. So you're totally right. And there was some bad, he was getting some pressure in his face, Brock Purdy, and he was getting a little tight there for a second.
They struggled to run the ball that week, and you could say short week, all those things. I'm like, yeah, you're right on all those things, but they didn't have Debo, which is true, and so that kind of limits what you got going. The throw that Brock made to Diggs, go back and watch. That was a momentum-changing play right there.
Yes.
That game could have flipped in a lot of different directions.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's interesting just to think back, Pete Carroll, he was talking about, yes, he's doing a little mind games, right?
Yeah.
He's doing a little, great job lines, but, oh, man, we got to play the 49ers. They're just so good. I don't know. I was like, okay, Pete, yeah, we get it. And KJ Wright was on the with Willard and Dibbs yesterday. KJ Wright, he's a part of Legion of Boom, linebacker, all that sort of stuff. He's a great player, and he was just like, yeah, he's not saying that in the locker room. Like that's not happening.
Wait. Willard and Dibbs had a former player on?
Oh, yeah.
No
you're
way.
right. Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
I love you both.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mark's tapped in. He knows, like, dude, he does Fox Sports. He's FSR guy, dude. He gets the LeVar Arringtons, the Bucky Brookses. LeVar. We hear him every morning before my show. LeVar's on there.
I do.
And then Brady Quinn.
Oh, Brady Quinn. Stop selling me milkshakes.
Stamps.com. But real quick, Shasky, I saw yesterday you sent it in the chat. I want to get to this before we have to wrap up. You were just doing some baseball. You're hitting the cages, dude?
Yes. Shout out to everybody out there. Well, your little guy was doing basketball camp.
He was young Benjamin. 3 to 4 years old, basketball camp. Them just trying. God bless Eric, the coach, trying to wrestle around all these kids. It's not easy.
No,
it's not easy. 3 to 4 year olds trying to get all them to do.
Attention span zero.
Benny, you wouldn't want to stand in one spot. He's like, can I just go shoot in the hoop? That's all I want to do the whole time. No, you got to start learning to dribble. So it was just fun. It was a lot of good times.
Well, so one day, little Benny's going to be playing baseball at some point, T-ball, something. He's going to
next year, I think. 4 years old's when you can start. Yes,
perfect. So my buddies, Mike Accardi and Travis, have created this thing called the San Francisco Baseball Academy. It's been around for quite some time. They've bounced around in different locations, but they're over on Geary. They bought an old movie theater. They hollowed it out. They put turf on the ground. There's 5 batting cages, and they have this thing. You know how in golf they have TrackMan, which is like a computer that checks out your exit velocity, face impact, all these different things, launch angle, all that stuff. They've got all that for the cages, and they've got this big screen. You could play in any stadium. You want to play in Yankee Stadium and simulate you hitting in Yankee Stadium?
That's cool. Old Yankee Stadium, not new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
right?
Well, they've got that. And so anyway, we're doing softball yesterday, and it was just really cool facility on Geary. Check them out on Instagram, SF Baseball Academy. I'm going to talk about them probably at some point later today. Dude, just so cool. I love hitting the cages.
No, and you said in chat, I was like, dude, maybe we can do like a 95-7 party. Like, I would totally love that.
Okay, you would go? If
totally.
Like a Friday night thing?
I haven't swung a baseball bat in probably like 20 years, but I would absolutely go.
So here's my question to you. If we were going to do
probably get hit, by the way,
batting cages, and we were going to group it up each show, okay? Now I know you're a producer, board out producer for multiple shows, so you can choose who you want. You're a free agent. But if we were doing shows, me, Bonte, Sam, and if you want, you can versus Willard and Dibbs and Madsen versus Steiny, Goo, and Evan, because Evan, Madsen, ball players.
Evan legit played in
Lucas, ball player.
Yeah,
there's some guys that can swing. I can just tell. Like I've played catch with Madsen. He's a baseball player. Yeah. Which of the shows would win?
Boy, that's a great question. Do my Tim Roy. You know what?
Alan Styles at night.
Alan Styles at night. You know what?
I've played with him.
There might be a thing where it's the pregame show merging with the night show. So there's 3 there. There might have to be that. I would honestly go. I saw your swing yesterday. Nice little uppercut swing there too.
Well,
look at you.
For baseball, for softball, you got to cut it.
You got to cut. Okay.
Yeah, you got to cut it. I'm trying to work on cutting the ball. It's a different thing. It's a totally different swing, basically.
Sneakily, I might take Willard and Dibbs, but it comes down because I think Dibbs is a legit. I think he could play softball.
Okay.
He also has had every single injury known to mankind, so I'm not sure.
2 swings.
It comes down to Mark. Is Mark a ball player? And we'll find that out in the crosstalk with the Morning Roast, Willard Dibbs, and then Morning Roast with Joe Shasky and Bonte Hill coming up next. Joe Davis, 650. He'll be on the call for Fox Sports.
Disrespectful.
They're coming up next, 95.7 The Game.